Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Amar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to have Cam Babin, the founder and CEO of DSD Media, aka Daily Sports Dosage. Cam is a dynamic entrepreneur revolutionizing content creation and distribution. With a background in content strategy and a passion for sports storytelling, Cam has built a platform that not only entertains but also empowers businesses to grow through engaging content. Cam,
Wow.
welcome to Founders Future.
Look at that. That was really good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, I'm
I
pumped too.
always I always like to start from the beginning. So take us back to before you started your companies. What were you doing before that? And then also what was the inspiration and motivation to starting them in the first place?
Yeah, pretty funny because this all kind of happened by accident, but we'll get into that afterwards. But I did a bunch of sales jobs. I did some project management. It honestly, account manager, it was very mishmashy. There wasn't really like a direction. I went to college for business and I just never knew what I wanted to do, but I sucked at school like so bad. I barely passed and all these things. And I was told that I couldn't do anything with it and all that. And my dad was just like a born entrepreneur back in the day when it wasn't as cool and fun. So he was like very, I don't want to say it was a time where it wasn't as exciting because he did
Yeah.
construction. So it was a very cutthroat. And at a very young age, he basically told me like, you could be an entrepreneur. It's okay. And it was even before an entrepreneur even was an entrepreneur, it was like a business owner, right? And solopreneur, all these things. So basically, I was doing a lot of account management work. And one day, my brother, who was doing some social media stuff, was like, bro, you love sports.
Yeah.
You should like talk about it. And this was when Instagram was like not really Instagram. I made my first page in 2015, probably. And it wasn't even really video. Then around 2017, I made a sports page where I was repurposing sports content and I was not gaining any followers. It was just for fun. And then one day I like understood something, like it just was like an aha moment where
Hmm.
I figured out that all that really matters in any business is providing value for the people who are watching. So, how do you do that more? And basically, when I went down that journey, my page started blowing up. I was getting hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of views. And then when TikTok happened, that's when things really changed for me because I was able to put my face out there. Before it was more of a Barstool type of brand where I was just talking
Yeah.
about sports stuff. And what happened was I was making no money, like zero.
Yeah.
I,
But you
I'm
had
a
a big following.
Yeah, exactly. I had at this point I was doing 800K to a million followers and was getting 30 to 40 million views a month. Like I was like, and I was getting people coming up to me on the street. And what reason I'm trying to say it this way is like I was told that if you had a million followers, you were a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And that was wrong. And at this time, I was like, holy crap, what am I going to do? I can't, because I went all in at this point. I was like, I'm going all in. And that's when I figured out I liked it. Then there are a couple things happened in between there. But once I started figuring out that social media is going to be around for a while. And what happened was a guy reached out to me to do a sponsorship deal and was like, honestly, man, I don't really care about your sponsorship deal like as much as you helping me with my social media. And I was like, oh, never really thought of that. Okay. And he literally was paying me almost what I made the year before. And it wasn't a lot. I probably made 40 grand. He paid me
Yeah.
like 4,000 a month. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
okay. And then I literally looked at my wife, I'll never forget it. And was like, I think I was just doing it wrong. And then from that day on, we just started building the media side of the business. And ironically, my DS Daily Sports Dosage page got deleted from Instagram for some silly BS nonsense. And it was like one of those moments where it was like, that's like someone telling me you got to go all in on the media. And ever since then,
Mm.
it's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Like business
Yeah.
is blowing up. Like it's actually like getting to the point where I have to grow, like kind of force growth, which I'm really excited about as well. But It's a lot, man. It's super exciting time, and I just love what I do,
Yeah.
to be honest.
That's awesome, man. And the biggest lesson that I took away from that is that you just put yourself out there from the get-go
Yeah.
without even knowing what it's going to turn into. And then because you did that, it stumbled upon something that it literally just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny you say it like that too, because so many people ask me, like, how do I start a business or how do I do it? You have to just like not care. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, there were a lot of people in my life that were like, oh, that's whack. Like, why are you doing that? You look stupid. And now it's championed. Like, I love my people and my family, but I don't forget. And I'm not saying they were like rooting for me to fail or anything, but it was just my family. My parents are always very supportive. My wife, like, couldn't do it without her. That's actually the biggest hack, is finding the right person, because she's like my backbone, truly. And my close friends were interested, but people that growing up, it just, I am extremely competitive. And it came with that edge of I want to crush people. But then it turned into this, I don't even care. But what I think is really important is people need to understand that, like, it's okay to use some anger sometimes. It's okay to use that if it's going to push you where you need to go. Tom Brady did it, all the greats, and that's how I operated. Now I'm like, I don't need to prove it to anything to anybody, but it's good that I still have a chip on my shoulder sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Channeled in the right direction is
Exactly.
the most powerful emotions. Help the listeners understand today, DSD Media and Daily Sports Dosage. Who's your ICP? Who do you love to work with? Your ideal avatar? And then what are the different offers and services that you guys provide?
Yeah. So daily sports source is just, I don't want to say it's no longer, but we've definitely outgrew it. So before we were just creating sports content, just making views. And honestly, it was the most important time of the growth of the business, because that's when I learned how to do it. I was obsessed with the craft. Like, how does the hook work? What should I say? Bang, making like a very systemized approach. And then because of that, I was able to now turn that into a repeatable process for business. So basically, what we do now is a lot of the service providers in my local area know social media is important, but they don't want to do it. So basically, I say is I'll come in, I'll script everything, I'll shoot it, and I'll put it together through my editing team, and I'll post it. And it's basically, lack of better words, a sell on being like an arm of the business, kind of like a marketing arm, because a lot of these like businesses know they need to do it, but they don't want,
Yeah.
they just don't. So basically, we go into service based generally. It's more of a recurring need, and that's what we built the business on, is that kind of like subscription model.
Can
And
you give us I'm sorry.
no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you give us examples of different businesses that you've worked with?
Yeah. So I have a car dealership I work with now, an HVAC company, I have a personal trainer, real estate, like literally all the trades type of thing. Like, I've done some electric work, some asphalt, like kind of cement. And it's so funny because every industry is the same, but very different. But the similar part is they all need leads. They all want to grow their business. And the same problems. So the pain is different, but the structure is the same. You need to find the pain, speak
Yeah.
to it, and make them a relatable person. So I even work in commercial construction as well. But we found generally the people that are like in the 2 million a year range, maybe like a million to 2 million, we can help the most, because they
Yeah.
just don't know what they're doing, but they're growing a sustainable business. So basically, we can come in and do it for them. The problem we run into a lot is we can help bigger companies as well, but they have a lot of like office politics potentially. So that's something that kind of deters us a little bit. But in terms of what we do for people, we just basically are lack of, honestly, a lot of my job is dealing with people's personalities and working through their problems and issues.
It
Yeah.
sounds like it's done for you, where you're
Yes,
coming in, you're
exactly.
scripting the videos, you're recording, editing,
Yep.
and posting that on their social media as well.
Yep.
I'm curious, have you found problems with scalability with that kind
Yes.
of model? Yeah.
Yeah. And we're
How
working
would
through
you
that
have
right now.
scaled
We're
that?
working through that right now.
What advice would you have to somebody who's maybe going through the same thing?
Honestly, man, like, it sucks. It's hard. It's no matter what, like, this is hard. And like, you got to lean into it. like being scared is normal and being nervous is normal. Like I can't even tell you, I'm a very anxious person and like I lose sleep over this stuff. But the truth is that as long as you're putting out a good product for your client and putting the right people in the right places, which has been really hard for me because it's like a different skill, like hiring, that's a whole nother conversation. But you've got to really just understand that it's just part of the game. So when it comes to the growth side of the business, I've been really working on, I've actually been doing some Facebook ads, kind of targeting people in the area that like might be interested, not like freelancing, but could be interested in doing that. And it's actually worked. Like I've had some really solid people reach out because I'm not necessarily in the position, quote unquote, where I need to hire someone full time. I am, but I would need like a, yeah, exactly. So it's like maybe like a freelance thing. And at some point we're gonna get to that point. But yeah.
Okay, got it. Help us understand the lead generation. So for these service-based businesses that you work with, how are you, like for DSD Media, generating leads for the clients that you work with?
Yeah, so we do it through organic content. So it depends on the client. So let's just say that they need leads like immediately, right? So a lot of clients need ROI fast, and which I'm not saying is bad, but it's just depending on the situation. Organic content doesn't do that as fast. It's important. You need to have it, but what I generally do is we do a mix of paid advertising and organic content. Organic content is the lack of better words, a resume for the business. So when they have a paid advertise of like them doing their service, talking about the pains, all this, it goes back to their page. And then now they look at the organic content saying, oh, this person is who they say they are. So we put together like a funnel. It really depends on the size of the business, but say that it's a HVAC company that does a couple million a year. We'll do like a call to action to either a DM or like a book a call with us. And we found that a lot of the drop off actually happens when they have to leave the platform to book something. So we do it within the app where it's like DM us and we'll book a call. So then we basically automate it where it will automatically send the book a call link. So it's still like within the same parameters. And we've basically been able to qualify them there. The biggest problem with that is the qualification process. That's something we're still working on because some of them are trash. I'm going to be honest, like real trash.
And that could also be point where you add more value to the business owner. And this is just a thought out there of having some sort of way to qualify it internally yourself before it's passed on. But that adds
actually thought of that.
Additional complexities. Yeah. Maybe with an AI voice agent or something like that.
Yeah, we've actually thought about that as well. And we do actually, so I met a guy who I was doing my email marketing for, or he was doing it for me, LinkedIn outreach. And LinkedIn, we can have a conversation. LinkedIn is just insane. It actually blew my mind how insane LinkedIn is. And he does the outreach for both of those. And I brought him on and we offer it for clients. So it's like we hit it at so many different levels. And yeah, like it's just the problem is, and this is where I run into a lot. And I think that everyone needs to really hear this point. It's really important that there's no cookie cutter response to any of these clients. You have to literally understand that marketing is pivoting. You got to try something, test, doesn't work, do something else. And if you just stick to one thing, you are going to lose.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's to optimize scale.
Yeah. You have to test.
Continuously be testing. How do you personally generate leads for your clients? Like for the service-based businesses that you work with? Does that make sense?
So how do I go in there and generate the leads?
How do you for you
bring them for myself?
Yeah, for you to bring on more clients into your business.
It's actually a similar process. The reason why this really works, and this is the key, I have done everything I'm doing for the clients myself. So I have grown my following to 800,000 followers. I just say that. I just say, this is what I've done. I'm not lying. And like, it's actually really interesting because the proof is in the sauce. So of course, you need testimonials are great. Don't get me wrong. But the number one thing I would get is, why don't you have 1 million followers? If you can grow up, I'm like, I did. Like the biggest problem is that there's a different niche, but the thought process is the same.
Yeah.
It's the value of what I'm putting out there. So LinkedIn, email, and paid outreach. And organic, I get probably like 2 to 3 a month. And those are like basically already closes because they know me through my content.
Yeah,
And
there's
that's what the beauty of the organic content is.
100%. You get the hottest leads
Yeah.
by far. What have
And that's what I sell is how do you go from a cold lead to a warm lead? And that warm lead from a cold lead is like I we don't have any numbers on it, but it's got to be like 70-80% more higher likelihood of closing because they
yeah.
already know you. They trust you. That's the key. That's what organic content does. They make you the person that they actually feel like they could talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we see that with ourselves. We see that with our clients all the time because it gives you that they like you, they know you, they trust you. And they're
Exactly.
hopping on the call already having all of those three things met, which is huge. It's drastically increased. It's basically a layup at that point.
Generally, it is. It's
Yeah,
more of an if. It's not an if. It's a when type of situation.
yeah, logistics or
Yeah.
maybe like finances,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. The finances are always their problem, but yeah.
So, what have you, of the LinkedIn email organic paid outreach, what have you found to be the most consistent and effective?
For me personally, it's the Facebook ads. It just crushes. But the leads can be bad. So I probably spend $300 a month, $10 a day, something like that. It's not
Wow.
even a lot. It's not even that crazy. And I get like $10 per messages because the content is so pointed. It's literally like, this is what I want to do. Here's how I do it. And here's how we're going to do it together. And if you want to do this, DM me. And my watch time on those things are super high because generally by the time they get to the point of wanting to work with me, they feel comfortable. But LinkedIn has been really interesting because LinkedIn has been a game changer in terms of my mindset on social media as a business. Because LinkedIn, basically the only purpose for LinkedIn is for people to do business on. And now it's like a social media, it's like a business on drugs or like whatever because of social media. And the outreach was really beneficial for me, but it gets capped. That's the problem. They can only do a certain amount per day or whatever because it's like a bot thing, which I also understand. So we just sprinkle that in. We sprinkle some email outreach. The email outreach is good, but like it's really low because but it's just hitting it at different angles. And that's what's important doing those 3 or 4 different things because one business might absolutely smash on LinkedIn, but they might not smash on Facebook. But if you don't try it, you won't know.
You won't know. Yeah, that is very true. And a lot of it comes down to, again, your ICP, understanding
Exactly.
my ideal client, who's my avatar, where do they congregate? And then meeting them there and speaking to their pain points.
It's funny you say that too, because like I don't even really even know my ICP well enough yet because I'm still trying to test it. But if you don't even, so a lot of the problem is when they try to bring me in, they don't even know what their business is. They want
Yeah,
to literally me to come in and make a marketing plan for them, and which is fine. We do, but I can't put lipstick on a pig. That's the biggest problem with marketing. A lot of the times, I'm just assuming that you are saying you can do what you say you can do, right? But a lot of times you can't. Odds are you probably can't. But my job is to make you look good. And the number one thing is people misunderstand why people buy stuff. It's not because you have the best price. It's not because you have the best product. It's because they like you. And then if your product is actually good, you
yeah,
win.
yeah.
Huge. You can't lose.
Help me understand, what does your sales process look like? So once somebody comes in as a lead, either through LinkedIn, organic,
Yeah.
email, paid outreach, what are the steps they go through and who's involved? Is it you team members before they actually turn into a paying client?
So I could tell you honestly, I am not. This is like where I'm very vulnerable because I'm so good at the implementation side of things that when it comes to sales, it needs to be more robust and it needs to be more systematic. But we've been working on a funnel and doing all that. But right now, I will personally reach out to the leads and book a call with them. And honestly, I think that the getting on the call isn't the problem. They always feel comfortable with it. It's when we get on the call, they see me, they feel like I'm like either a small outfit or because like perception matters. And when I'm the one jumping on the call by myself, it's coming across as maybe like weak. I'm not sure, but the process is very different every time. But as every client I close and deal with, this is the most important thing I can teach anybody. Record your sales calls and watch them.
Yeah.
It is brutal to do. It's so uncomfortable, sucks, hate doing it. And it's every time I do it, I feel my skin crawling off.
The
But
only way you're gonna get better. There's no other way to, and we are actually blessed and spoiled to have this. Like
bro,
before
couldn't agree more.
Zoom, people would do this in person and trying to sneakily record that sketch.
Yeah,
Like this
totally,
is
dude.
huge. This is the best way to get better. So I can
And it's like that right there. I'm not even exaggerating when I'm saying this. Every time I watch a sales call, I get better by 10, 20, 30% because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But it's you did. Now don't do it again. And then now you add another skill to your toolbox. And that to me, and I people can disagree with this, that's the best way to systemize things. Completely messing up yourself and then
yeah.
just telling people how to do it.
So you feel like sales is where you're most vulnerable and you're handling that right now. What do you think your close rate is at? Or are you tracking that?
Yeah, it's probably so it's really interesting you say that because the organic leads throw that off because
Yes.
it's probably like in the 70 like 50 60% because of that. But the paid advertising stuff, it's probably like 25 30, and that's like average, but the problem is, bro, is that I'm getting picky now. So I could be like I'm not vibing with this guy. And then that's considered as not a close, right? But I would probably say about 25%. And I know for a fact that I'm good at sales. I've done it a lot, but that's not my strength. I'm the guy that the sale gets done. They come in for say like $1,000 a month, and then I build that client to $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. They stay for a long time. That's where
Yeah.
my mind's at, and that's where my
You
skills
want
are.
to elevate the sales.
At some point. Yeah, 100%.
Paint me that vision. What does the future look like for DSD Media? What do the next 12 months look like? And really, what are your top priorities, tactically speaking?
Yeah. So 100. So I really only need 3 to 4 people, I think, to fulfill what we're doing and be like a $5 million a year business. We need a strong account manager who's like really good with dealing with people, a
Yeah,
back end person who does all the research. Because this is really important too. The market research for what we do is so important because
for
I
sure.
go in there with like, they're like blown away with what I know because I'm literally doing research on everything. So I know their competitors, I know what their pain points are, all that, but I can't speak to it as well as them, obviously. But from that, having a closer, like a real closer, somebody does the sales and he's like on my staff, and then maybe another account manager depending on the level. But once these clients, I have several in the interview process and the proposal process, like maybe 7 to 10 that are out. Once I close, say 20 or 30% of that, it's going to be like almost immediate where I'm going to have to hire people. So I have a guy that I work with that does like a lot of my freelance stuff. He's been with me since the sports days. So he's just going to fit in and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with him. He's just like a good guy. That's really important as well because like when you start a business, you need to have people that just buy in. Just like they're good soldiers.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I won't forget that. He's been with me since day one. But hopefully in a year or so, like right now we're just shy of 20K a month. It's probably like
Yeah.
18 or something. And the goal this year was supposed to be doing 20K a month. It's I'm not gonna lie, like I don't think that there's a situation where I can't be doing 50 to 60K a month by the end of the year. But the money
Where
doesn't matter. But I want to be clear, the money doesn't matter to me. It's the value I'm giving the client. So if it gets to only 30, but we're absolutely crushing it, and then we can really take that information and actually put a system to get together, that's a huge win for me because that's where I'm worried now. The systemization of it because there's only one me, and that's where I'm like a little vulnerable as well, honestly.
Sure. So given the fact that the goal for 2025 was to get to 20K a month, and we are in May, you're basically already there.
Yeah.
Look on my watch real quick.
Yeah. No.
Hey, you're basically already there. And if you had to set like a stretch goal for yourself by
Yeah.
the end of the year, and this is something I'll reach out to you again and be like, hey, what's going on?
Mm.
What would that stretch goal be? And don't say 50, 60K, because I think, like you said, you could very easily get there.
I think
Or
it's 100K.
100K?
I think 100K is I wouldn't even believe my eyes if I saw that. But I will say, I do think it's possible. But the money, it's so interesting to me. I want to put out the best product possible, no matter what. And then the money just flows in. Dude, I don't even do any more advertising, really. I'm not kidding, like $1,000 a month max.
Yeah, it's just pretty wild.
And I get people calling me all the time being like, oh, you work with this guy because, bro, we put out we care. We have the client's best interest in mind. And that's the best hack I've ever learned is I know it's like a very old saying, but dude, under promise and over deliver. I over deliver on every aspect. And I had people being like, how much do you bid into? You deal with the client only 2 hours a month. What happens if they go to 3? I'm like, dude, if they need me to work 20 hours a month, I'm going to do it because it's just how it works. And like, maybe that's a me problem. But what I've seen is when you win their trust in the first 2-3 months, you're good. You don't have to worry about them anymore.
Yeah. Aside from sales, are there any other roadblocks you feel like you're working through right now?
Growth. Like
internal recruitment?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm really good in the day-to-day, bro. I'm the guy that says, here's the problem, go fix it. I'm really good at that. I'm not good at taking 10,000. I'm good at working in the business, not on the business, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I completely get what you mean.
it's such a problem for me because I am the guy that's like hands-on. And I'm not like the micromanager either. I'm the guy that's like trying to like get people to work together. Let's do it. But like in terms of here's 10,000 feet up, we need this many people for the business plan, bro, it puts me to sleep. I just have I don't even have any. I'm literally, look at this. I literally have my things written out. I cross them out. I'm very old school like that, dude. And I am in the present. And that's like actually how I grew my business because if I think too big, it gets scary and fluttery. I think people worry about the wrong things. Like business plans and such matter. I'm not saying they don't, but they don't matter. Like in the beginning, dude, just start the business and just do it. And then, like I'm in a position where I've been in business for 5 years. So I've actually technically been in business for 3 with the LLCs, but I've actually been doing this for 7 years. The first 3, because the first year I was still working, the first 3 years of technical business or 4 years, I made $100K total, 25,000 a year. And I'm telling you, I was grinding, bro. And that was like and that's not even like pocket. That's literally what the business made. So I was making like 5K a year and barely getting by, living with my parents. Like it was serious, dude. But I was all in. And just the other day, I started doing a business plan because, dude, like you got to get good at what you're doing before you put together because people get too overcomplicated. It's, dude, are you good at what you do? Yes, then do a business plan.
And it's like I don't want to use this word, but it's mental masturbation, right? Where
it's exactly what it's like analysis paralysis. That's what I use a lot.
And it feels like it's productive, but it's not procrastination. That's what it is.
That was one of my biggest problems, bro. I was like busy doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'd work like 13-hour days and be like, did 13 hours, like good, but what did I get done? Like not a lot. And now I'm working like on average, maybe 8 to 10 hours, something like that. But dude, I am like, holy crap. What I get done in a week is, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I smash people. Like bro, cause I'm organized now, but that takes time. You just got to go through the reps.
Let's go into a quick closing lightning round. So I'll rattle off some questions at you and don't think too much, just whatever is the first thing that comes to mind. What's one tool or resource that's been a game changer for you in your company?
AI.
What specifically with AI?
ChatGPT.
Okay. How do you use it? I'm curious.
For writing. It's literally changed my life. Like I would spend probably like 3 hours a day on it. I probably spend an hour now and it's way better.
Wow. And that's like scripting videos, copy.
Yeah. So basically I have a whole system where like on Mondays, I'll come up with the video ideas and Tuesday I'll basically do the research. And it's really Grok and ChatGPT. So I use Grok for the research and then I use ChatGPT for the polish.
Is it because you like the deep search function?
Yeah. It is not even, it's amazing. But it's like, Grok is very AI, if that makes any sense. It doesn't come across as like human. GPT it's pretty amazing. It's insane.
She is my girl, bro. Like
I literally have it up on my other computer right now looking at it. And it's just, bro, it changed my life. Like I'm able to run a potentially $200,000 a year business with very low margins because of AI. Dude, business has never been easier.
Do you mean with very high margins?
Oh, sorry. Exactly. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Very low overhead, what I meant to say.
Low overhead, yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing, bro.
What's the best piece of advice you've received about scaling your company?
There's just so many Alex Hormozy quotes that I think of. It's really just providing value, man. Once you get to the point that, like, the crux of why people are in business, they have a problem, solve it. And I was trying to dance around this like beautiful idea issue. Just, dude, figure out the market, what the market needs, figure out a problem, and just do it. Instead of being like, oh, I have a great idea, like the market's just gonna love it. Dude, you don't, like, you are not the market, but the market's right. The best part about social media is that you can figure it out really fast. It would take years to figure it out. Now that you get a month and you're like, okay, this is a bad idea. Let's go to the next thing.
Yeah. If you could go back, let's say your younger self who was just starting your business, starting today in 2025, okay? And you could give yourself a piece of advice that you wish you knew when you first got started, something that could have been a game changer. But it's the technology is different today and all those
Yeah.
things, so keep that in mind. What piece of advice would you give yourself if you could talk to your younger self?
Just don't quit. That's it.
Simple.
You can, it is shocking the amount of people I've outlasted just by not quitting. The amount of people that I started with, that I was buddies with in the sports industry, don't have pages anymore. They're done. They don't do it anymore. They work their corporate jobs, which I'm not saying is bad, but if you do something for 5 years, you could be bad at it and you could still probably win. Like, it's just like people don't have an understanding. Like, it's never been easier to grow a business, but it's never been harder to stay on course with a business because there's so many distractions. And I can't even tell you the amount of times I wanted to quit, and I almost did. I actually quit a couple of times, and then the day after, I was like, "Nah, that's not the way it works." But that's part of entrepreneurship. But literally, just telling yourself quit. The only time you fail, like you lose, is quitting. Everything else is just a learning experience.
I love that. I love that so much. And I was actually talking about this yesterday on another podcast. Tony Robbins, in his book Awaken the Giant Within, he reframed failure as feedback.
It
So
is
there's
exactly.
no such thing as failure. It's all feedback for how you can improve, what to do differently the next time, what not to do, all of these different things. So this has been very enjoyable, man.
Can I
What's
say one last thing?
please?
Be willing to be embarrassed is another thing. That is something that, if you're not willing to be embarrassed, you're not going to be successful in business. You have to
Uh,
look, you have to be willing to look stupid. And I think that is actually one of my things, because it's like, I don't care. Like, I
mm,
cared so much that I was doing it perfectly. And that was actually like helpful for me because I was able to move forward with that. But just not caring, bro. Like, you have one life. Just do what you want to do. If you do something for long enough, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to make money on it.
yeah.
If you just stay consistent, like, seriously,
You have to be willing to be bad when you're starting off as
very
well.
bad. And
Yeah.
that's the key. If you're not willing to be bad or be embarrassed, or you're gonna quit at the earliest, it hurts bad. And you're gonna cry, you're gonna question what's going on. And dude, I used to cry all the time. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And it was always coming back to me saying, this is what you want to do. If you want extraordinary results, you need to put extraordinary time in. It's just the truth. But people don't understand that you can't put a half amount of time into being an extraordinary person. And I'm not even there yet. Like, I'm not even close to where I want to be. And I'm just scratching the surface a little bit here.
I love that, man. I love that. What's the best way for people to reach you?
So I get an Instagram, just Cam Babine, then on LinkedIn. So my daily sports dosage stuff, I don't really post on anymore, but their pages are still there. On YouTube, we get like 250,000 subs, but I got my own personal YouTube now, LinkedIn. It's all just under Cam Babine, Facebook. And yeah, looking forward to see you guys there.
I love that. That wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Again, thank you so much, Cam, for sharing your journey and your insights with us today. I'm excited to see the growth over the next coming
Yeah.
month, next coming years. For our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're looking to scale your business, if you're a coach, consultant, or an agency, and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.